Good morning. No idea what I'm going to say. So yesterday I was trying to make a video about synthesis. The importance of synthetic thinking, of synthesizing all issues. Now, one of the keys you have to have when you do that is have a methodology of judgment. And I would suggest that your judgment cannot be fully analytical, logical, left brain, but has to have wisdom. It has to be right brain as well. Although I suppose the right brain is not the locus of wisdom per se, but rather that there is a way in which the right brain forms connections throughout the whole brain, which create wisdom. I think so. I think it is how we use the right brain. I'm pretty sure it's the right brain though, and not the left, that does it probably is the locus of wisdom. It's just not automatic. We have to learn to become wisdom. Okay, I think that's fair enough. I'm not talking about left and right brain differences, so I'm gonna restrain myself from getting off into that. So, judgments you need a methodology of judgment for synthesizing, or else you are not judging the quality of what the information you're synthesizing. Which is not to say you can't derive value from synthesis, or from a position that has poor quality. Often, in fact, that there is a diamond in the rough, and so I'm going to say that insight is what we could call that. So now we have judgment and insight. Insight would be, oh, I see something there. You're only 15% right, but that 15% is a big deal and it's something I need. So judgment and insight. And insight is huge, right? Because insight is also how we innovate the mediating principles, or concepts rather, needed to properly synthesize. So here's another one, mediating concepts. Mediating concepts would be the concepts you need to put together a set of disparate beliefs. So the reason you need a mediating concept is that if you are talking to a Ku Klux Klan member, and you're, I forget his name, a dude that, black guy that's deconverted like 200 Ku Klux Klan members. This may not be a good example, but I'll go with it. If you're him talking to a Ku Klux Klan member, well, see, this is why it's a bad example. He speaks to them as humans, and he just relates to them. He's not, well, but let's think about that for a second. So, the wisdom of the age would have us say that he should hate them and silence them. And what he has done instead is love them and connect with them. And all connection is a type of synthesis, right? But it is like you are involving not just the concepts but the emotions. And so you are displaying an emotion of openness. I'm here, let's connect with. Let's try to connect. And he is probably using his considerable charisma to connect with these guys. I bet he's a really witty, charismatic guy, and he's able to connect with people that may not be that well, no, they may very well have some charisma, but they must be said to be, must they? must they? They can be said to often be displaying a tendency to need to blame somebody else for the problems of the world. That is, I would say, a part of this singular linear bias. There's only one answer to our problems, and it is those people. That's a very singular linear bias. Because if you say there's more than one problem, and you are open to discovering those problems, then problems will proliferate to the point where the people group's identity and characteristics no longer seem that important to the larger schema. Why did I bring all that up? Because there's a sense in which I guess I can't analyze the level of synthesis he's doing at this point, because I really don't understand it all that well. But I would say that there's something to be said for the way he is emotionally synthesizing, which is probably like the only game I have for emotional synthesis is civility and care and love and patience and kindness, these kind of Christian virtues, these civility virtues. Because they are saying, I'm interested in you. Like they are hitting the emotional buttons of the other person and saying, I'm interested in you. And when you do that, you open the other person to synthesis. Yes, that's it. So, for instance, the thing that amazes me about Jordan Peterson, and which seems a huge mistake, like if he's making... Like I love a lot of Jordan Peterson's stuff. The one thing I don't like about him is he does the emotional synthesis poorly against those, with those whom he stands opposed to. And it's not that he doesn't have justified reasons for being opposed, or at least I would say they're justified, and he would say they're justified. Not everybody would say they're justified, and that's fine. And I'm saying that because I'm trying to frame that commonly. That's another example of commonality, of attempting a commonality statement. So, which is another way of keeping emotional synthesis going. Okay, so I think we have a fourth principle here, which is emotional synthesis. If you are not engaging in emotional synthesis, in connecting with a person, regardless of whether or not they are your enemy, your conceptual enemy, then if you're not involved in emotional synthesis, then they are not going to be able to synthesize with you. Granted, they may be so strong-headed that they won't anyway, but emotional synthesis would appear to me to be an extremely powerful tool, extremely powerful. If you can be civil and kind and even loving towards somebody who is your intellectual opponent, you skyrocket the chances of them listening to you. Okay. Thank you very much.